Austin Metcalf fatally stabbed at a Texas high school track meet in Frisco, which I will be in next week, which I used to live right next door to in Plano, which is wild. He told another student, Karmelo Anthony, his name is.
With a K.
With a K. He told him he was in the wrong spot. Karmelo, this is a lot of alleged. There are too many stories. That's why we got to talk about it. Allegedly, he's like, well, make me move. It's raining outside. And then the kid tries to grab him, grabs his backpack, moves him out. Little tussle, quick tussle, stabbed in the chest, stabbed in the heart, dead. Twin brother tries to revive him as he watches his brother die. That's how it's kind of reported. There are details here. Want to hear y'all response to this. Not only the death, but what could have led to this death and how we even got here. Where you at, Rich?
First of all, rest in peace to the kid, and so sorry, and condolences to the family and the parents and the friends of everybody involved.
Oh, no greater
because
devastation.
so many lives are ruined now.
Oh.
Now, as far as how it went down, I can guarantee it didn't go down as easily as they said it would.
Okay, I'm listening.
Nobody just said, move, you're in the wrong tent, and then get stabbed in the heart. That it didn't happen that way.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm
There was some words. There was maybe some names. There was some feeling of superiority. There was something that triggered that shit. And we know that. And any black person who reads that story is gonna think something else happened here. That is not. It's too clean. They're saying he's not sitting there getting away from the rain, and somebody says, you can't sit here. I'm sorry, you can't sit here. This is our space. Would you kindly leave? And you get up and stab somebody.
You know what he's saying
is
this. He's saying there's a lot of gas, and I'm with Justin, but then I understand what you're saying. People have died for less. Like, people have died for the most senseless. You're like, no way. They're like, no, he's gone because of that. There's a lot of gas here, but not enough fire to light it. Because you're like, that's it? Like, the kid just...
There's no way that's it.
So, to your point, how did it explode to that point? Because there's all this gas but no fire. But I heard you, too.
Why does the high school kid have a knife at a track meet? Like,
that
why?
was my first thought.
Something you walking around with. You're not carrying nothing unless you know somebody's
threats
after
exist.
you, or you've been doing or acting some type of way to where you got to handle that. But why does he have a freaking knife? But I do feel what you're saying. It has to be more. No kid is just going to react. I have seen stuff happen, but at a track meet, it had to have something.
You're saying you got the knife because either A, they've been fucking with you, something, or B, you just about that life where I'm up here just in case somebody want to mess with me, which both are a problem because you're going into a track meet, and we all been vulnerable at a track meet before, where you just watch the kids run up and down the stairs in the bleachers. You're like, you scared they're going to slip and fall on the bleachers. You scared they're not paying attention. And they get their little sense of independence. Daddy, I'll be right over there. I know my race is in 2 hours, and you let them go. And I had my first kiss at a track meet because first time I was ever somewhere where my parents were there, but I had space.
What was his name?
Donald Penn.
Oh, look at that smile on his
Bang,
face.
bang, bang.
He's blushing.
DP is about to do this.
DPG. Y'all ain't shit. These people married now. I can't
if
say
you're
her
at a
name.
high school track meet, that means there's some accountability on you.
And
that
supposedly the boys didn't run. All right, so let me get the rumors out. I don't know what's real from fake. The twin brothers didn't run. They were football players who were at a track meet. Not sure if that's true. Also, there were some conversations of bullying from them prior. Also, some conversations of white supremacy in the area. I don't know if these kids are like. Also, some of Karmelo saying it was self-defense, protecting myself, stand my ground. I'm just throwing everything at it because, to your point, it doesn't make sense as we're hearing it.
Yeah, it does. It just doesn't make any sense. And I'm not absolving the kid for stabbing somebody else and taking their life. I'm not doing that. But I can almost guarantee you that it didn't happen the way that they're saying it happened.
Okay, give me this. Okay, before we even get into that theory, there's a reality. You ever get to a place where you're like, I only want to imagine that, because if I imagine that, it connects to some form of reality. I couldn't imagine if my son went to a track meet. And this is what happened to this father. Now, forget all these other theories. This father said, literally, he heard a commotion, turned around, saw his son in his other son's arms, ran up there, and he died right there. Mm-hmm. The investment in a kid, because, you know, you get desensitized because you watch CNN, you watch the news, you watch whatever's on, and you hear of a death. And then every time it happens, you're like, damn, that's sad. Then sometimes it gets closer. It happens in your city, happens in your area, it happens where you grew up. You actually know the person. And you're like, oh, could you, like the fathers, you put that 17 years of investing time, energy, love, every attribute. And all you doing is trying to time a race, whatever it may be. And you hear commotion and you turn around and you see life lost that is the life you gave. Mm-hmm. Dog. There ain't no more living for me. I don't know what I'm doing the next moment.
I don't even want to imagine.
You're apoplectic.
That's one of the worst pains.
Because you still got your other
That's
kids.
one of the worst pains
Facts.
I don't ever want to imagine or feel ever.
I know, that's why I'm
It's
saying.
like I'm trying to teach my son how to drive right now, 16, and he does not take it serious. And I'm like trying to tell him, like, you not checking your blind side could lead to death. And I'm trying to explain to him how serious this is, because I can't live without you. Which I'm about to find a way, which I don't ever want to, but I'm trying to teach him how serious like every day is. He's always my bad. My bad's gonna be one of my bad's gonna be too much.
Horrific.
And I'm trying to teach him you have to check your blind side every single time.
And it's the
And
number
I'm telling
one.
him the whole thing. I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about these other motherfuckers that ain't getting taught like I'm teaching you to be on their P's and Q's and check your surroundings. You know, I'm telling you, you gotta check your surroundings all the time. You should always be checking your mirrors.
Number one killer of kids that age is a car accident.
And he's not
That's
understanding.
the way they go.
He's not
typically.
understanding that, and I'm trying to get, instill that in him.
Yeah,
And it's tough.
I'm triggered because of this. My kids know it. They just don't understand it. My daddy harps on me in parking lots. My daddy harps on me walking across the street because my best friend got killed by a car accident. So I'm like, to your point, you could be doing all the right things, but this ain't no, I'm on my iPad walking across the street. This ain't no, oh, I didn't look both ways, because you got to be on the lookout for what they're doing too. You did everything right, but what if this is their time to avoid the police? What if it's their time that, oh man, I just ran California roll through the stop sign? And then it's like, what? And this family, both families went to a track meet and literally walked away with one kid in jail for who knows how long, and the other kid never coming back. Like, what is the gain? What is the learn? What is the big grab? What do you get from it, Terry?
I just think it's an unfortunate event, and both families have been changed from this day on out. I kind of question, if I were to go by the facts or the assumed facts, like, why, if those kids were on the track team, why are they there at the track meet regulating on where the track athletes are hanging out at in that
Tent.
in the tent?
But who didn't play football, didn't play basketball, was at every basketball game? Like, I went to every basketball game.
Yeah, but
like,
you didn't hang out with the athletes in the tent. Like, you didn't hang with the athletes. Like, the tent was for the athletes because it was raining, right?
Everybody, a lot of guys do that. A lot of guys do that.
Well, they are MVP football player. He's an MVP football player. Might have a little more cred. Yeah. But I like. Let's go down every lane. I hear you.
No, it's like, I mean, during the track meet, other teams might communicate and hang during the track meet, but like during that time, that's only for the track athletes.
Yeah, there is a territory and territorial element to it. Like, what you doing here?
But to have a knife, like, why did you fight? Fight. It's high school kids. Why you went immediately for a knife? You don't know. That's why I said I
came
feel what
out.
you're saying too. He might have been him and his brother coming after.
Right.
Why we don't know. Why we don't know the story.
Twins tend to
We don't know
gather together
we
and
don't know the
go
story.
at the same
we
thing.
don't know the story.
I want to go to DP's original point. Why does this kid have a knife? I always go
Why
back
is
to the
he
human
there?
side.
There,
I'm
yeah.
thinking about a 17-year-old who went through trauma his whole life, just not a good life, and just thinking about that. A child who has to go through that, to have to feel like he's got to have a knife in his bag to protect himself. That's where I'm going, like,
And it's rural.
just the empathy. It's the empathy I have. And now he's in a situation where he may never see the light of day again. I mean, granted, he's 17, still, I'm assuming tried as a minor, not an adult, which is probably in his favor. But it's the other part of, I lost my train of thought, but, that's
Damn,
the
you
part
only
that
speak
tugs
twice.
at my heart, is that he's 17.
Yeah.
And to have to live a life where you're always carrying a knife on you, like, what kind of life must you live through?
Or he didn't always have to carry a life. Like living in Frisco this ain't no bad life. So, or you carrying a knife because there was something that has been popping up, something been happening of late, and you prepared because you're like, no one, because at that age, I even been bullied at that age. I'm like, the outlets are not as vast as you think, even though they exist. You're like, they need to stop. They ain't gonna stop. All right, I can tell them, but for me, it was like, if I tell my uncles, they gonna go kill them. And I don't want them dead, but I want them to leave me the fuck alone. So I was like, don't tell your uncles. Okay, so tell the homies, they can't do nothing. Damn, tell my mama. Nah, then she gonna be walking me to school, I'm gonna get clowned even more. Yeah. You're like, I got this. Next time they come, I'm gonna show them I'm not no punk. I'm gonna bring it. I used to bring a BB gun to school, and it was in part not for bullying. It was in part because we were just playing like goofy games, and in part because it wasn't a real gun. It was like, I bring the closest thing that anybody ever mess with me. You ever get shot with a CO2? Oh yeah.
I used to bring one. Too.
Yeah, you ain't
my
gonna fuck
father
with me no
found it
more
one
unless you really route that life. And I wasn't in that danger. But I think as a kid, you make some really irrational decisions to protect yourself, and you think that they're really rational. Right. I'm glad he said that. No one chooses football. Football chooses you.
It's so crazy people still stuck in Patrick Mahomes in the offense. I'm like, do you see these numbers? This is Marcellus Wiley on the rocks.